York City, a city that is so close yet so far away when you are broke. But you don't need a lot of money to enjoy yourself in New York City. Stay tuned to find out some tips on how to have a little cash left over after your next trip to New York City. Next on How Do I?
Want to be a part of it. New York, New York.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of How Do I? I am your host, Jeff Kujan. New York City is only about an hour away from us here in Fairfield County, but when you are broke, it may as well be on the other side of the country. Today's episode, we will find out what it takes to get in and out of New York if you are on a budget. In order to do this, we will look at the 4 steps that tend to use up the most money when you're considering a trip to New York. They include transportation, food, entertainment, and tourist attractions. Our first step is finding transportation, and as our correspondent Mike explains, there are various ways to save money on that.
In Fairfield County, there's 2 different ways to actually travel into the city. You can either drive into the city, or you can actually take public transportation, such as the train. Basically, what you can do is, say if you want to take the train into the city, save a little bit of gas. You actually only spend $10 each way to go into the city, and actually out of the city as well. If you decide to drive into the city, here's a useful website, nycgarages.com. And on there you can actually find all the different garages that are in Manhattan, and anywhere from upper Manhattan down to the lower boroughs downtown. You can actually find rates anywhere from $12 up to around $50. So you definitely want to check online and see if there's any differentials in the rates that they offer. Also, the other thing to do, if you do decide to drive in, when you park at the garage, make sure that the rate that you saw online is the same rate that they are offering. The reason why I say that is because sometimes some parking garages actually post rates online that are a lot lower than their actual rates, and you could be surprised when you go to actually get your car out of the garage later on in the night. So it's going to differentiate for most people which option is going to be the better one. Some people want to take the train, other people want to take their car just because they feel like they have more power if they have their car. The other thing you got to remember, trains do end around 2 a.m. coming back into Connecticut. So if you know you're going to spend a late night out there, don't take the train in. Definitely take a car. And if you're going to be drinking, usually the better option is actually to take the train.
There are great deals to find when it comes to eating in the city. You can find anything ranging from 99 cents all the way up to $100 for just one plate of food. Whatever you decide to eat, if you're trying to save some money, do not go to a major chain restaurant like Applebee's or Planet Hollywood in Times Square. These places take advantage of many tourists and charge enormously high prices for all their meals. If you're looking for the restaurant or bar experience, take a walk down 46th Street and you can find a whole bunch there. If you're just in the mood to have a slice of pizza or some fries, head over to 41st Street and you can find an authentic New York slice of pizza for around 99 cents. Our next step is entertainment, and as Mike explains, there are ways to see a Broadway show and still have money left over.
Entertainment isn't hard to find in New York City. Just look all around and you can't miss seeing a Broadway theater. The only problem is that Broadway tickets alone cost $100 or more. But there are ways around that. Here's some shows that features cheap tickets for those on a budget. Avenue Q has a lottery every day for the front row for $21.50. It's a quirky show for those who are fans of Sesame Street and South Park. It features a main character named Princeton who has just moved to New York City and is meeting many funny and furry characters on the way. Be warned, the show is not for kids. Jersey Boys has standing room tickets for $26.50 in the back of the orchestra, and it's a small theater, so anywhere is a good view. Tickets are sold out for months, and this is the only way you can get tickets if you really want to see it. This is the story of 4 regular boys from New Jersey that end up striking gold in the 1960s and becoming the 4 seasons with hits like Sherry, Walk Like a Man, and Big Girls Don't Cry. Legally Blonde is the next show that you can get student rush tickets for when the box office opens, $26.50. Most of the seats are in the front row, but a few others are on the side depending on availability. Legally Blonde is the story of Elle Woods, who travels to Harvard to win back her ex-boyfriend, and in the process discovers how great a lawyer she can be. This show was broadcast on MTV, and since then the popularity of this show has blown through the roof. It's a light story that everyone will enjoy, and even has the occasional Irish jig dance in it. Hairspray was recently re-released as a movie, and the Broadway version captures all the excitement and more live and in person. They have the lottery every day for front row seats for $25. Hairspray is the story of a big girl with even bigger dreams of integrating a local TV show in Baltimore during the 1960s. Chorus Line has a student rush program for orchestra suites for $35. And Spring Awakening, the 2007 Tony winner for Best Musical, has a student rush for $26. If you still can't get tickets for the show after all this, all hope isn't lost. Just head to Times Square. There you'll find the TKTS booth with tickets for most Broadway shows that night. Tickets range from 35% to 50% off and are available in all parts of the theater. Wicked is one last show that features a front row lottery every day for $25. This lottery seems to be one of the hardest to win, but you won't win unless you try. Wicked is the untold story of the Witches of Oz before Dorothy dropped in. But if this is still too much money for you, there are some free events you can attend. Broadway on Broadway is held every year in Times Square and is absolutely free. This event showcases most, if not all, that Broadway has to offer by allowing the fans to see all their favorite shows at once. But if you go to this event, make sure you get there early, as it is estimated that 30,000 people attend this every year. No matter where you go in New York, you're bound to have fun at a low price.
Now that you have something to eat and found something to do later in the night, it's time to start enjoying the sights and sounds of New York. Some people who come to New York for the first time may want to do some sightseeing. To go to the 86th floor of the Empire State Building, it only costs $20 to get great views of the city. Otherwise, you could just travel to Times Square and enjoy the bright flashing lights and the sounds of taxis honking for you to get out of the way. One last thing you could do is purchase an all-day Metro card for $7 and explore various places in Manhattan. Now that we've gone through all 4 steps, let's take a chance to review them all. Step 1 was transportation, and you can either take a train for about $10 each way, or you could drive down using nycgarages.com to find the cheapest parking garage. Step 2 was food, and you could find many great restaurants and cheap restaurants as well, if you wander past the Times Square area. Step 3 was entertainment, and as a student you have many different options to save money by using student rushes and lotteries for a $25 ticket. And lastly, Step 4 was tourist attractions, and most attractions in New York are affordable and easy to access. We hope you have enjoyed today's edition of How Do I and have learned how to go to New York City on a budget. We will hopefully see you next time for another interesting episode. Until then, we leave you with this clip from this year's Broadway on Broadway. Thank you very much and have a great day.